I'm just writing a note real quick so I won't forget it as I have this conversation. I try to um, come to these blessings, Sexy Spirit TV. Oh, thank you, Wendell Bradley. I love purple. It used to be my favorite color when I was a little kid. Because I had a teacher whose favorite color was purple. She was dope. She was dope. She was amazing. She was like the first black teacher I had that she had a purple Corvette. She wore purple riding boots. She wore purple every day. That was her signature color. Like, she was the bomb. She was fly. So, um, she had a lot of influence over me when I was a little kid. um, this morning I wanted to talk about, thank you, sis. I wanted to talk about gratitude and practicing gratitude and what my practice of gratitude looks like, because I often say, every day I always talk about, I practice gratitude, or I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful, and I know that seems, especially with all the things that's going on in the world, that seems like an impossible idea for some folks, and I just wanted to break down how I practice gratitude and how it has benefited me, and just introduce gratitude into your space if you have not used this practice. Of course, gratitude is basically the practice of being grateful, of honoring your space, honoring where you are, honoring what you bring to the situation, allowing yourself to sit in the moment and use it as a space of just peace, of I'm trying to define the word without using the word, as a space of thankfulness, as a space of acceptance, as a space of self-awareness. Gratitude ties all those things into play, and the four main things I'm going to talk about that come from my gratitude practice are eliminating complaining, not comparing yourself to others, don't compare, staying present, and practicing things you're good at. This is what my gratitude practice is based on, and I came upon this practice because I used to have a guru. He was an amazing man, Ron Davis, and I was studying under him for a while, and I used to be like very snarky, like super snarky, and he would, laugh with me and joke with me and everything. Go in your room, Ziza. Go in your room, please. Can you go in your room? My daughter's at online school. And I would make snarky jokes about situations, and he was like, man, you're so funny, you're so good at complaining and making it funny. And he was like, and that's how you don't even notice that you're complaining, that you're basically giving your power away, because you're entertaining people. You made this into a thing where people get something from you, but you're taking from yourself. And he was like, I want you to really practice not becoming the butt of your own jokes, and not making everything a joke in order to survive it. Oh my God. When I began to, and this is eliminating complaining, when I began to do this work, I had no idea how much of my life was situated around this dark humor that we all like, sarcasm and everything, that was really detrimental to my space. Like, I was always joking about me, like, oh, I'm so such and such, haha. And I didn't realize that was what I was feeding myself. I was feeding myself all of this dark humor in order to survive. And I, would make it like palatable for other people. But I was really feeling bad. I was really feeling like shit. And the complaining was, I was so good at hiding that I was complaining, that, I was complaining about myself or complaining about other people, that it literally became a way of existing, and it was really hard to eliminate. So when I would find myself going through this complaining process, about to complain, about to make a joke about something that was within my power to change if I wanted to or not, I would stop myself and tell the exact truth. So instead of complaining, I would say I was like going to make a joke like, oh yeah, well, if I don't, get it, then, some other loser will get it, or I'm, like calling myself a loser. Instead, I'll say, I'm really want this position. If I was talking about the job, I really want this. And it's going to really hurt if I don't get it. But I'm going to figure out a way to work harder to get this thing that I want. Instead of making light of it by making fun of myself or making fun of someone else or bullying another person, because that's what it would ultimately turn into. It would turn into a sort of low-level bullying where I was so snarky and I was so good at it that people would be terrified to talk to me or to come in my space with complaints or questions unless they knew exactly what they were talking about, because they knew my defenses were so high that I didn't have any space for vulnerability. And that's what the complaining does. The complaining blocks our space for vulnerability. It doesn't allow us to be present. It doesn't allow us to feel what we're feeling, to experience our experience. And that's really what at the bottom, gratitude is allowing us to do, is allowing to experience our experience. And there's lots of experiences that we are pushing away because we don't see them as worthy experiences, because we're going into number 2, comparing. As I was growing up, a lot of my childhood was spent in comparison. And so I grew up as an adult thinking that this was a normal way to function. It is not normal to always be looking around wondering who is doing better than you, who is smarter than you, who has better clothing than you, who has a better life than you. But this is a way of I'm going to say that we inform ourselves in our communities sometimes. And Instagram is a space, it doesn't help, when we have people who appear to have certain things that we aspire to have, and then you're looking around, you're like, shit, I want that. Well, create it, right? So, and growing up as a child, I was constantly compared. I was a really smart kid, like super smart. And because of that, it was always expected that I, in my family and at school, in my school environment, that I will always rise to the top. I would always rise to the top. So from elementary school to junior high school, I was a straight A student. I never got anything. Hello, good morning, everyone coming in. I never got anything less than an A. I was that kid. And when I got to high school, I went to a private high school, and the pool, the fit, I was, a big fish in a little pool from elementary to junior high. But when I got to high school, I was a little fish in a big pool. My life had not prepared me for other smart kids, other kids who were worthy of praise, other kids who also got straight A's. When you come from an impoverished neighborhood and you're the kid that knows everything because you are hungry for knowledge, because, your circumstances leave you nothing but books. I was reading by the time I was 5 years old. I was, so I seemed like an anomaly. But when you get to a space where this is expected of everyone, and everyone is performing at the same rate or higher, and there's nothing special about you in your head, right? You're just another smart kid. This comparison game starts to take over your life. And I literally
I got my first F in high school. I never gotten a grade lower than an A. I had no idea that you could do, my brother and sister didn't get straight A's, but like I had no idea that I could not get an A. I was just like devastated. Like I literally like had like a nervous breakdown in high school over this comparison game of being in a space with other kids who were very smart, because it was a private school. You had to have a certain GPA to even get into school. You had to have a certain amount of money to get into school, or a certain amount of GPA. That was the need. And so I was just disenchanted in high school and even in college, because I didn't have that thing that I had from elementary school to junior high school. And I also didn't have Black teachers who supported my mental agility. And that was an advantage that I had from elementary school to junior high school. All I had was Black teachers. I didn't have any teacher that didn't look like me. I had not been in a place where people didn't look like me. And once I got to high school, and everyone looked different, there were people from all over the world, speaking 2 and 3 languages, and the comparison thing started taking over. And that's where the complaining started to pick up even more. As we're looking outside of ourselves, we're always going to create a story. We're making up stories. We're assuming. That's where the crux of we're losing our gratitude right there. As soon as we start looking outside of ourselves and we're assuming that someone has something going on that we don't, we're accrediting something to someone that we have no idea what it is. It's why I don't, cater to certain ideas of looking a certain kind of way for the internet, because I know that I came from a home where my mother looked perfect to the outside world, but I lived in a home where my mother was extremely abusive and was an addict. So I knew personally how, and I know personally how one thing could look amazing from one viewpoint, and how the reality of a thing can totally be something else. And having that understanding that people oftentimes put on a facade for the outside world because of acceptance. We all want to be accepted. I really learned to stop comparing myself to other people very early on after high school, because I realized that comparison is a favorite quote of mine, is a comparison is the thief of joy. It really is. It is the thief of joy. As soon as you begin to compare yourself to each other, you forget all that you are, all that you bring to the table, all that you are. It's just, you start calculating other people's worth, and it's weird and unhealthy for you to participate in activities that are not building up your self-esteem, your self-confidence. So that's the second thing, is don't compare. So eliminating complaining and no comparing. Don't compare yourself to others. It's not useful and it's not worth it. The last thing, the third thing is staying present. Staying present. We have a very nostalgic movement going on. A lot of the clothing is going back to the 80s and 90s looks, the hairstyles. And I know this wave happens all the time, because even when we were kids, my mom was like, oh, we used to do that. And we do this. We have nostalgia where we are constantly going back in the past, because there's nothing new under the sun, and reaching back and grabbing inspiration from the past in order to create something not new, but something, new to some people, But when we do that as individuals, when we go to the past as individuals, most times we're going to the past to feel bad. We're not reflecting to honor how far we've come most of the times. That's why staying present is so important. always honoring where you are in the present is really important. And being clear about you are here now. This is what you get to create in this moment. Thank you. Good morning. This is what you get to be in this moment. Even if you were amazing in the past, even if you could do something way better in the past, hyper focusing on that is not going to make that a reality for you right now. That's a part of the problem, is we hyper focus on what's wrong or what we could have been or what we could have had, instead of appreciating what we are and who we are in this moment. Good morning. And practicing staying present, like really saying, when you're having a moment and you're going off into the past and you're thinking how shit could have been this or would have been that or whatever, pinch yourself. No, I'm here now. This is good. This is where I am. I am enough. I can create, maybe not create that again, but I can create something amazing. I can create something else. I have the tools. If I created that, I can create something more. I can create something different. Because that is the thing. Sometimes we were able to create something that was amazing. Say you were able to have a successful business and you made all this money and then you went bankrupt and then you're just all sad about it because, that moment has passed. If you did it that time, you could do it again. You just have to find the thing that you're passionate enough about, to go hard enough for it, to get in that space, to open up that energy that is available to you, because it's you. You're the energy. It wasn't that time. It wasn't that thing. It wasn't that select space. It's you. All the experience of your life you bring with you. It's a part of who you are, and you can recreate certain moments again. And so stay present and be grateful for the experience that you had that was amazing. And that energy, being grounded in that energy, is really what will get you to the next space of creating another amazing wave. Just really staying present. And what helps me stay present is meditation, prayer, sound therapy. All those things help me stay present because they help me not focus on anything outside of what I'm trying to do in the moment. Also, my yoga practice helps me stay present because when I started yoga, I was 140 pounds dripping wet. Had a baby, got up to 201 pounds, and my body changed. Had to reevaluate how my body moved. Had to look at, maybe I can't do it that way anymore. I can't lift my body weight the way I could when I was 140 pounds. I have to build my arm strength. I have to grow in my yoga practice, my foundations more. That's why when you see my practice every day, it's mostly foundation poses, because I have to restart those foundation poses and get those to be strong in order to do those more advanced poses that I could do before with no thought. We are constantly remaking ourselves. We're recreating ourselves. And it's okay if you are not, thank you, sis. It's okay if you're not who you used to be. No one is. But think about all the wisdom. Think about all the strength. Think about all the joy in moments that you created from those old moments to now. Without having that experience, you couldn't be where you are. So you needed all of those things in order to get here right now. So stay present. It's your greatest asset in being grateful for who you are and what you've come through in your life. And the last thing I use daily is practice things you're good at. It's not enough of that going on in the world. If we all practice things we're good at, once you strengthen your skill set of what you are good at, maybe you're good at writing, maybe you're good at telling stories, maybe you're good at making music, maybe you're good at dancing, maybe you're good at telling jokes. Who knows? Practice that thing. Hyper focus on the things that you're good at. Those things create avenues to growing and adding more things to your bag of tricks. When I started my jewelry business, I was crocheting. I was a crocheter, and I was crocheting jewelry, crocheting earrings, crocheting necklaces, crocheting bracelets. And then one day something said, just make earrings. Just make regular earrings. And I didn't know how to do that. I didn't. But because I had crocheted earrings, I knew some components of what it took to make an earring. So I practiced making earrings, figuring out what weights were good for your ears, because I don't want to split no one's ears. Figuring out what looked good together. Figuring out what crystals, because I love crystals, and I was putting crystals in my crochet earrings. Figuring out what crystals look good together with just earrings. Figuring out all the things. And then I just started. I knew I loved waist beads. Had I ever beaded a waist bead? No. But because I had the confidence from crocheting, and I knew that I understood colors, I knew that and I could draw, and I painted. I had those skills, so I understood. You understand color. If you don't understand anything else, so just go off of that. And that's what I started doing. And bit by bit, I moved into making copper jewelry. I did not know how to make copper jewelry. I just felt it in my spirit. Something told me, you could do this. Now that you've done these things, you could do this. And I started doing it. And I started making jewelry 6 years ago. And part-time. I had a full-time job. I was making jewelry on the side, crocheting on the side, making people baby blankets, doing it. And then when I had my daughter, I talked to my partner and I said, hey, I want to build this business. I want this to become something lucrative, something I could show my kids that, hey, you can sustain yourself with your own business. And he said, fine, I got you. And I started going hard at it every day. Like, I create something every day. Even if you guys don't see it, even if it's terrible, like, right? Even if it's not, sellable, I did it. And I'm grateful to my ancestors, because I know that it's only one of them that is speaking through me whenever I create something, because they were not allowed, for whatever reason, to create. Or they didn't get to do this on this scale. So I'm just grateful that each and every day I discover something newer about my talents, and that I am tenacious enough to stick with it. So hyper focus on what you're good at. It will expand. It has no choice. When you love something, it grows. It grows. It's just like when you're in a relationship and you're really, really in love with someone, and you keep feeding them all good energy. Good things happen. Beautiful things happen. When we're hyper worried about them harming you, hyper worried about them cheating on you, hyper worried about them doing something nasty to you. When you're really hyper focused on the good, when you're hyper focused on the joy, when you're hyper focused on the connection, it grows. And that's exactly what you do with yourself. Gratitude is a self-practice first. It is you growing into a space of love for yourself and accepting all that you are, and not really comparing yourself and worrying about what you aren't. Because that is not great gratitude. You're only hyper focusing on the wonderful things that you are. There are other practices that will help you focus on healing things that you feel you need to heal. And gratitude will point those things out to you. And that's, like, you can do affirmations and things of that sort in your gratitude practice. to help you grow in love for yourself, but that would be more of a self-love, self-care practice that is attached to your gratitude practice. So I'm going to go over the main points again. How did I function and grow in my gratitude practice? Eliminating complaining, not comparing, staying present, and practicing things that I'm good at. Oh, I forgot one thing. And don't comparing. Don't gossip. Don't gossip. It's hard because that's how we get a lot of our information. But the more you hyper focus outside of yourself, the more you're going to compare. Don't gossip. Don't participate in gossip, and don't gossip. Do your best. If that's one of your things that you have a hard time with, as soon as you hear it, excuse yourself. Hey sis, I'm trying to stop doing this. Or hey brother, I'm trying to stop doing this. I'm trying to curb this behavior because I realize that it is taken away from me and what I get to be in my life and what I get to create for myself, because gossip does take away from you. You are, by talking about someone else, you are sending your energy right to them. You are giving your energy to them. You are taking all that's good about you and you are hyper focusing on someone else. It's not worth it. So gossip is something that we get to eliminate from our space in order to grow our love for ourselves. Because as soon as we start talking about someone else, we are taking our power away from ourselves. Just making sure I didn't forget anything. Yeah, and the comparison implies that someone has something better than you, which is not true, because you were sent here with everything that you need. Everything you need came with you. And you get to be grateful for that every day. Just meditate and pray. Thank your ancestors. Thank God. Thank whoever you believe in or don't believe in. If it's just you, say I'm thankful to myself for showing up each and every day, and I pray that I get to expand. I'm grateful for all that I have. The more you express how grateful you are out of your mouth, expressing the gratitude, expressing how you know that you have a purpose, expressing your love for yourself, it heals you. It heals you. So keep expressing that love for yourself. You don't have to express to down anyone else to express your love for yourself. You don't have to compare to express your love for yourself. So that's the crux of the message. If you want, I would like to... No, this is not a workout session. It has the title on it. If you can put things you're grateful for in the chat, so that we can end this. I really like to end it on a positive note. If you have anything that you're grateful for, if you can just type it, that would be wonderful. I'm going to say right now, I'm grateful for my 3-year-old who woke up screaming because she got me moving this morning, and she made me commit to what I was showing up to, because she was wanting what she needed. And I had to, when you have kids, they are a constant source of gratitude because they don't have filters like we do. Like, they haven't been indoctrinated. At least my kids have not indoctrinated into niceness and all of that stuff. They're really just living in the moment. And that's what gratitude really is. It's like really being appreciative of the moment. And so when she shows up as her whole self, and like, yo, I need you to hurry up and get in there and cook me some breakfast and hug me and give me 3 kisses and all of that right now, I'm grateful because I realize, A, that I've allowed my child to express themselves. Something that I wanted as a kid from my mother, but my mother wasn't able to provide that space because she didn't have that space for herself. You can't give something to someone that you can't give to yourself. You can't give self-expression to someone when you are muted everywhere you go and you mute yourself for other people's comfort. And because I don't mute myself for other people's comfort, because I taught myself to stop doing that, I do not teach my children to mute themselves for my comfort. Is it uncomfortable? Hell yeah. Because, you know, I'm still shedding old ideals myself. Even though I believe in a new ideal, I'm still shedding my reaction to these ideals. Everyone is a reflection of who we are. We can appreciate each other instead of compare. Yes, ma'am. Sexy Spirit TV. Yes, we can appreciate each other. There's so many beautiful people in the world. Everyone came here for a unique and special purpose. There is no reason to compare yourself, because your paths, they might go alongside each other. At one point, they might even intertwine for some ways, but they are not the same path. We all have different paths. That's how amazing God, the universe, spirit is. It's so divine. It's unique in every way. It's so unique. It's absolutely amazing. We could all be here and have totally different things that we need to bring to the world. So if no one's going to put their gratitudes in, thank you guys this morning. I really appreciate this. I'm going to post this for anyone who missed the entire thing. And I'm grateful to you guys for being here with me. I hope you have a beautiful day. I know you will make it so. The sun is shining. The cicadas in Maryland are loud. They're doing what they came to do. And I hope you get to create what you came to create. I'm about to hit my mat and create some body movement. All right. Take care, you guys. See you later. Peace.